Welcome to MJTV. We're not HGTV because we tell it like it really is, and you can't build a house in an hour for under $1. We build it the real way. And today I'm really excited. I'm here with Chris Nielsen of Stinson Builders, and he's been with them for 15 years, and they are evolving into using SIPs for building. He'll tell us all about it. So, before we get into that, I'd love to invite you to sign up right below so I can be in touch with you, answer your questions, let me know what you'd like to hear. If you have more questions, or if you want to know what's coming next, give me a shout. So without further ado, let's talk to Chris. Thank you so much for having us here today in your SIPs built home.
Thanks for being here.
So tell us a little bit, how did you get into building? When did you start working with Stinson Builders?
I met Jason about 16 years ago.
Okay.
I was working as a project manager and was consulting with nonprofit organizations who were undergoing capital projects. I was working at the Science Museum of Minnesota.
Oh.
And was working on their Teacher Resource Center, which is an outbuilding at the Science Museum.
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, so
Well,
there's a Teacher
now I know.
Resource Center, and it's solar, geothermal. Back 20 years ago, it was pretty cool new technology and stuff like that they were doing.
Pretty new. Yeah.
So one of the colleagues there that I was working with was also good friends with Jason, and she said, "You guys are like-minded people. You got to meet." So she introduced us. I had Jason out to the Science Museum. We met, we talked, and I was like, "Man."
He was excited, I'm sure.
He was excited. I got really jazzed because of what he was talking about. He really wanted to learn more about green building practices.
Alternatives.
Yes,
Yeah.
programs that are out there.
Very forward thinking.
Yeah,
about 15 years ago.
And so I sent him an email. I said, "You need to hire me." And so,
No resume, just raise your hand. Right?
So you got to hire me. Let's do this. And so I've been with him for 15 years now. So
Terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific. And that's what, the excitement of the technology and the new science,
Right.
building science,
Yeah,
brought
exactly,
you together. So, how has that evolved? Over 15 years, how has it changed?
more and more people are becoming educated in building systems, in what it, and are feeling that it's very important to build in a green manner, if you will, or in a sustainable manner. We want to build beautiful design. We want to have beautiful homes, but we want to build them so that they stand the test of time, right?
And they're efficient.
And that they're efficient, right? Which go
Absolutely.
hand in hand. And so I think the education of people and people in the building industry, and there's a lot of people who are just taking off and running and doing new things every day, and we have to continue to learn about these things. And
Every
and
day
it's-
is a learning curve.
every day.
And it's so exciting. So you have changed now. They were stick built when you started working
That's correct. Yeah.
with Stinson. And how have they evolved now? Is it 50-50 or is it?
For us, we're 50-50 right now. We're
Okay.
building with structurally insulated panels. We normally do one home like that every year and one stick built.
Okay, so where are panels?
Sure.
Can we show what the panels are?
This is a structurally insulated panel right here. And this, what we do is, these are insulated panels that are manufactured at a factory.
Indoors.
Indoors.
No rain,
in a
no snow.
controlled, no,
Right.
right? And we have closed cell foam, polystyrene closed cell foam, and we have OSB on each side.
Now, how big are these panels?
We can
usually?
make 'em-
This is just a chunk.
This is just a chunk. A lot of times, just for transport and things like that, they'll come in 4 to 8 foot wide and then
Okay.
up to 24 feet long. And so
Wow.
you can imagine when we put this together for the envelope of your house, whether it be your roof and all your walls.
Now, this is the magic. What if your roof had this much insulation? When the first time I saw this, I just went, "Oh, I
Yeah.
can't believe it."
So this gives you an R49 right up
Okay.
here. But what's great about this design-wise is this allows you to have some really cool vaults and things like that.
Explain this to me.
So
Why does this allow you to have
because these are
walls?
structurally insulated panels. So right here, we can just use this as your roof system right here. We don't have to have trusses, roof trusses or anything like that. This is it. This is your roof panel right here. And so
Oh.
it can go up at a nice angle and rest on a beam right up on top.
Right.
And you don't have to add any more insulation or anything like that.
Well, the other thing with these, they come in panels, and this is a wall panel back
Yep,
here?
this is a 6.5-inch wall panel right here.
So what's the, okay, there are different panels.
There are different sizes.
So
yep.
the roof, that's 12 inches?
That's 12.5, yep.
And this is the wall?
6.5, yep.
Is normal?
Normal. We tend to go up to an 8.25, which gives us an R33 value in the walls.
Explain to people what's an R33.
That's a measurement of the heat loss in a wall. So it's the way they measure the
And the average stick-built house, what is the R value of the wall?
21.
So this is
19 to 21.
Okay.
Yeah. This, when we do the 8-inch wall, is 33. An
Okay.
R value of 33.
So the other thing, if you can imagine, this is your wall, and then you put the roof on it, there's no thermal bridging.
Correct.
Would
limit
you
the
explain to
thermal-
people what thermal bridging is and why there is none is such a big deal?
What thermal bridging is if we put a 2x4 in here, in a typical stick-built home, it is a conduit for heat and cooling loss throughout that.
There are air gaps.
There's air gaps, but also through the wood. So if a lot of times,
Oh.
you look in the older homes in the city and things like that, and
Like
in the
one of mine.
winter,
Yeah.
and you see the when the snow is melting and whatnot, and you see the roof joists.
Right.
You see those lines up through the roof. That's thermal bridging happening right there.
Right.
And
So
so
what
there's-
happens is there's a difference between hot and cold, and you lose
Exactly.
heat. You lose a lot of heat. You lose a lot of energy through thermal bridging.
Correct. So we limit that. What also is nice is that we do still have to put structure in the walls, right? We
Of
do
course.
have to do headers and things like that. What we do is we do insulated headers. So you'll have an LVL on one side, and then sandwiched with insulation in the middle of it. So we're stopping that thermal bridging.
Wow, so that's completely tight.
That's what our goal is, yes.
Okay, so now how do you string electricity through this?
So it's not shown in
Wires.
here, but a lot of times we have little chases that are put at the standard electrical outlet all the way around the house.
So a chase is like
A
a
little 1.5-inch hole that
channel
is
all the way
channeled
through it?
Yep,
So you just string it through?
yep.
Like
And then they
threading it.
also go up. They also go around doorways. They go in through the ceiling panels. What's nice is that we designed the electrical systems beforehand, or if there's any specialty lighting and things like that, so that we have those chases built in the factory. So when they come out, they're ready to go.
Okay, so can we go back for a minute?
Yes.
You have your design of the house
Mm-hmm.
that you have agreed upon with the homeowner.
Correct.
Everything is set, they've agreed to all of it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So then what happens?
Over. We have a relationship with Extreme Panel Technologies. They're
Okay.
down in Cottonwood, Minnesota.
Okay.
They've been building SIP panels for 30 years. They have
Okay.
a fantastic factory. They know their stuff. They send stuff all over the country. We send our plans down to them, and then they look at it, and they put it into their computer model, and they generate what's called panel drawings, as we call it. And so
Oh, so that's different than a blueprint.
it's similar. It's got a floor plan, and then each panel is labeled, and then they'll show you, a wall section right here. So this whole wall right here they'll have that shown with the different various panels that go up right
So
there.
they're like numbered?
Numbered.
Exactly.
They're all numbered. They come out to the site numbered, and you have the plan, and then you just say, okay, I need panel 19 here. 20 goes next to it. I bring those up.
So then you
those
put it
up.
together like Legos?
Somewhat, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the windows are already cut out?
That's correct. All
So
the rough
they-
openings are
So
done.
they will come with window openings, door openings, and all of that?
That's correct,
That you
yes.
assemble on site?
Yep.
So now you said this is your house that you built?
This is my house right here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you do not have a basement, we're close to the water,
Correct.
so we're technically almost a floodplain.
Right behind the front door, yes, is
Is a
considered a
floodplain.
floodplain.
Okay, so you used the SIPS panels for your foundation, but they're on piers. So tell us about the piers. How does that work?
So helical piers we use these in locations where it's hard to get at with a concrete truck, to use as footings and or foundation walls, or if we have poor soil conditions like we do out here for my house right now.
Well, anywhere close to a water.
Yep, a
Anywhere,
lot of times.
close to
Yep.
river, creek, lake,
Right.
like we have right here.
Yep, we're 50 feet away from the lake right here.
Yes,
so
yes,
you
you
know
gotta do
the
something.
soil here is going to continually just drop.
So, what are the advantages to people of using SIPs? Tell us about the good and the bad and potential.
When we build with SIPs, we're building your envelope, and now we're giving you this high performance envelope. It's super airtight.
So
right?
instead of a skinny little envelope, now we've got a big, thick envelope.
Well, yes, it's thick. I mean, it's an 8.5 inches thick. If you're building with 2x6 walls, you're at 7.5 inches. So it's
Okay.
only adding an inch, if you will, to the exterior walls. But
With built-in insulation.
that's correct. Yep.
Okay. So how do you put this all together?
How do we put it together?
Right.
The basics of a SIPS panel. Basic panel is we have the panel here, and what we have is called an insulated box spline. So if we were going to
Okay.
marry two panels together, we have a panel, we put sealant on the inside of that panel right here, and then this box spline slides right in there. We screw or nail this off right here, and then the next panel comes right in there and attaches.
so it dovetails.
Yep.
They
And so
dovetail
think about
together.
it. Now
Yes.
we've eliminated any type of thermal
Yeah.
bridging,
Right.
you know, throughout there. And so that's how a standard panel will go together.
So how do you save, what's the advantage? Do you save time? Do you save man hours of work?
Yeah, we said man hours of work. for
Okay, so the
insulating.
normal timeline from, let's say you have your foundation done, is like 4 to 6 months to build. So using SIPs, your foundation's ready,
Mhm.
and what is your timeline to get the exterior in place?
That all depends on size and complexity of the home. I
Well,
will
of
tell you
course.
that. Okay.
Okay.
So a standard home such as this, which is 2,100 square feet, which is still smaller than the average home built in the United States today.
Right.
Took 6 weeks to have this envelope up. Now, check this out though. So the envelope is up, right?
Right,
We get the windows in.
right.
Now all of a sudden we got to do our rough-ins. It's
Right.
middle of winter. It's cold outside, 0 degrees.
Right.
I come in here with a little space heater.
Yes.
I put it in there. All of a sudden we're at 50, 60 degrees in this house all winter long. So as the subcontractors love it. They love to come in here and ditch their jackets and do their rough-in.
You have a special furnace it's a gas furnace that you're using here, but you
It is.
also brought that in from Canada. Tell us a little bit about what it takes to heat a house like this.
Well,
Heat and cool.
it's really important that you have a good HVAC subcontractor and HVAC system in these homes that we're building.
Now, do they
super
have to be
airtight.
specially trained to do this?
I would find somebody, a contractor that, because there's formulas that they use to figure out what
Right.
sizing to use for the furnace and things like that.
Right. But
And-
that's different when you're working with a house like this.
That's correct. And
Okay.
so we work with the company Metro Heating and Cooling who understand that. They understand that our infiltration rates are going to be below 1. They understand that our R values and that we're going to have a low U value on our windows. And so they work that into their calculations when they're figuring out the sizing of the HVAC system, because too big and it's not going to be efficient at all, right? You have
Okay.
too big of an, and it's not going to, because it's not going to run that long. It's not going to run at this
It's
high
gonna go
speed.
stop and go, stop and go.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you don't want that to happen. So we want to keep it at its ultimate efficiency, so it's running at 96, 98% efficient. And so we have to size our HVAC systems down.
Not
to
only
make
for
that.
the square feet, but for the kind of structure that you
That's
are
correct.
building. Because normally it's based on square feet.
A lot of times, yes, and the number
Okay.
of windows you have, yep.
Great, great,
So
great.
cooling, that's a bigger thing. You know, heating, this home right here has radiant heat in the floor.
Right.
That's pretty much all we ever need. The furnace, rarely, we don't turn on the furnace in the winter most times unless it's below 0, and then we might turn it on the second floor, and that's it.
So what's your utility bill in February?
It's not very big, so it's pretty nice.
Okay, so you're the only one who gets these letters from Excel Energy or Centerpoint that says, "You're more efficient neighbors."
Yes.
You are the efficient neighbor.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice.
That's wonderful. So obviously, this is a huge advantage to a homeowner.
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
And over time, how is this house an advantage to the homeowner?
Well, there's that's a good question. How is it? I think there's efficiencies in money, obviously.
Yes.
What most of the people, or a lot of people, are telling us about the SIPS homes that they lived in, or that they're building, is they're super quiet. Listen to it.
All that insulation.
All that insulation and the triple pane windows.
Triple
It's
pane
so
windows, you
quiet.
get no noise, yeah.
Right, it's fantastic. We had a lot of, we just had a house in the home tour this past 2 weekends ago.
Yes,
you and
I
got
saw
to
it.
meet. Yeah,
Yes.
so it's a SIPS home built with triple pane windows, and we got a lot of people that walked through that have built with SIPS, have homes with SIPS, and it's kind of like this community. They want to come in and they want to see what other people are doing, right? See what they're doing with their houses, with the angles and all the fun stuff they're doing with SIPS. And then the most overwhelming comment that we got is, they're just so quiet. You know, the home is just so quiet. And so I think that's a huge advantage for people.
Wonderful.
And it's a comfort level.
It is, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There are huge advantages. It's still an evolving technology, isn't it? Or is it pretty set?
I think it's pretty set in the technologies. They're just...
It's just that I didn't know that.
but I think that they're going, with the designs and what they can do, you know, with the structure and stuff like that, and getting huge overhangs and stuff like that, and working those into the panels, that's something that just keeps moving forward, and having, you know, rounded panels and things like that. It's just...
Wow.
So the design
we're
keeps
going to have to
moving
stay tuned,
Yes.
you know, because this is an ongoing. So, big question is, how can people be in touch with you? Where can they find you? And where can they find Stinson Builders?
Stinson Builders is on the web at stinsonbuildersinc.com. We do
Okay.
have a Facebook page as well.
And how about a phone
Stinson
number? Is there somebody they can
Builders.
call?
They can, oh boy, I don't even know. You can reach me at
Okay.
612-719-1634.
Terrific.
And so that's our main, we all work remotely now. We don't have a central office anymore.
At this point, someday.
At this point, yeah, never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for inviting us in, Chris.
Thank you.
This was a totally pleasure. And I hope it was super educational and gave you some ideas if you're thinking about new construction. So thanks so much for coming, and we'll see you next week.